My name is Massimo Bresciani. I'm industry director at CMAC, working very close to Alistair. We are looking at the different dimensions from research, translation to industry, sustainability of the center. And today I will focus on the industry perspective. I have a background in industry, several years in drug delivery and in big corp, mainly CMC, small molecules. This is the lens I will use today during my introduction. Let me start with a little bit of admin. So as you know, now after 3 days, I'm sure you are very familiar with the app. I just logged in, by the way, in the way that I can get access to the questions. So feel free to post questions via the app or as well. I mean, we will have the microphone available in the room. Poster exhibition demonstrators tours are still available during the network session, or if you need any kind of specific support, just let us know. We will organize. We can go deeper in the tour of facility, or we can discuss with any of our industry partners, tier 1, tier 2, and of course with our researchers. It has been confirmed that there are no fire tests planned for today, so please consider that in case of alarm, it's very likely that it's something we have to consider seriously, and we follow the procedure. And other than that, you should have access to the agenda, and feel free to interact during the question session as well during the networking. I love this slide, and I need to wear glasses though to read. And from industry perspective, it's very interesting to see how the pharma, not only pharma, the industrial world is evolving and is changing. And it's changing in many ways. It's changing from technology perspective. It's changing from expectation perspective. So at CMAC we have a lot of, we consider very important the development of the workforces, the scientists of the future. And we need to consider that the scientists will enter in an industrial world that is different than what it was 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago. So therefore the expectation, the multidisciplinary, the complexity and the speed of development is something we have to take into consideration. The value chain, the supply chain, resilience, the disruption we have seen in recent time is quite relevant, very important, can impact, can be a big challenge at society level as well. The affordability of medicine, the affordability of treatment is something we keep into consideration when we develop the strategy in CMAC, and when we apply, let's say, the KPIs or the lens from industrial perspective. So this is just to set a little bit the scene. Beside the technology or the technological innovation advancement that obviously now is quite dense on the data and digital perspective, and you have seen during the previous day how much we try to progress. The base of the center, the pillar, the main pillar, I would say, we have 4 pillars, but I would say that the main pillar is academic research, fundamental research. And you've seen a lot of many use cases in the past few days. The quality of science is amazing. The quality of scientists is spectacular. The portfolio, if you want to use a little bit of business term, is the richest ever. The portfolio we have now is the richest ever. It's rich in terms of volume, in terms of numbers, but also in terms of diversity of the program that very well combine in a very coherent, let's say, plan that is described in the strategy. That, by the way, is accessible, so you can find the strategies, free access on the website. Here you have a kind of a simplified representation. I'm sure we are familiar after 2 days of intense discussion and presentation. But the message is very, very rich. It's very well structured. It's very coherent. Here are a few figures to give you a sense of the scale So this is the portfolio of funded programs. We are, let's say, I would say implementing, because some of those are still in the submission phase, but we are managing from center perspective. And you can appreciate what is the level of industry contribution. And industry contribution is very, very important because is a contribution per se, is a validation of that our direction to travel in terms of research, priority, etc., is supported by industry, and therefore is in the right direction for what concerns the patients. So therefore, we innovate in the right direction towards patient compliance, safety, efficacy, etc. And it's very important for the agency because they like to see that the programs are well designed, are well supported, well executed, but also they are very well in line in what could be, let's say, the relevance for the final impact at patient level. So we're very proud of this, and we know we have in coming years we have a very important and complex job that has to be done, but this is why we are here. So this is our priority. You have seen this slide already a couple of times. I'm seeing Alistair used, and by the way, copy the slide from Alistair package. This to confirm that we have a sort of end-to-end. So we start from the TTP or the drug delivery selection, and then we go and we cover quality by digital design, data factor, digital twin, manufacturing. Then on the right side, of course, we have the final end user and the patient. So this is how we innovate, keeping in mind the quality by design approach to ensure we are consistent with the standard requirement of regulatory agencies. So our goal is to innovate. Our goal is to develop the scientists of the future. Our goal is to upscale innovation till the point when it can be, let's say, NDA, IMPD, INDA, whatever, ready, and therefore facilitate and simplify and streamline and accelerate on that side of the equation for what concerns medicine development and commercialization. This is the research strategy, and yet again, it's public, it's visible, you can assess, and you're welcome, if you like, to discuss offline. We started in 2021. We are planning to close this phase of implementation 2026. During the design of the strategy per se, we had quite an intense phase of what we call road mapping. So basically, we discuss one-to-one with all the industry partners, we collecting all the priorities, and we try to qualify the assumptions that are behind. And I use the red circles to highlight how do we look at the research strategy from industry perspective. So we have a very intense, high-quality sort of push from the left side of the equation when we look at the founded research, a lot of activities, a lot of scientists, a lot of students, a lot of innovation. But then from industry perspective, we try to pull in the way that we, let's say, upscale, in the way that we validate, that we test, we generate use cases, and part of that, of course, is also outplacement of PhDs, the way that we bring industry, but via a pulling factor into the system, and therefore we look at the, you see, so validated methods, CCS, MCS, validated methods, and MCS, validated methods, and BCS, validated methods, etc., and databases, new standards, advanced process control, and quality by digital design workflows. That means ready for regulatory submission. We had recently a very used example of one of our digital workflow, if I remember correctly, in impurity rejection that has been used by Lilly in an NDA. great validation of the quality of research we conduct here. And in the next couple of years, I would say 2024, 2026, more and more and more, we will work from a regulatory standpoint of view, looking at how best we can, let's say, validate and integrate the element of innovation portfolio we develop here into actual regulatory submission and commercial streams. I like quite a lot the image where we have the digital or cyber physical, as we say now, CMC lab, because I was speaking to a couple of industry partners yesterday during the dinner, and very often what I hear is absolutely is great, what we do is great, what we are doing together, but the complexity industry faces is how to translate into daily operation, how to translate into, let's say, routine kind of quality control, test and release, for example, right? So how do we bring, let's say, we create something that is accessible to daily ops in terms of scientific operation. So therefore, it's important to have, at least in our mind, this kind of image. There is a lab, there is technology, but there are also scientists. There is a human centricity element we need to keep into consideration. And then not only outside the lab, there are stakeholders, there are regulators, auditors, partners, companies that can be big or smaller, different culture, different geographical, let's say, perspective, et cetera, et cetera. So important to consider from industry's perspective that whatever we do, whatever we innovate, then need to work well. So it's something that you have to put in ops. How do we do? How do we, how to say, how do we test? How do we facilitate the researcher in the way that they have support in terms of sort of, yeah, I repeat myself, but it's a matter of validation, testing that what we innovate is fit for purpose for what concerns the industrial applicability. One way is what we call core projects. So working with the industry, working with our industrial partners, we discuss and create a list of selected core projects that I use the term applied research. I don't know whether it's exactly right, but basically it's higher TRL kind of development and optimization. And here you have a representation that is the, let's say, giving you a sense of how we select, how we operate. So you can see that we position, and you can follow the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We position the selected core project or the discussed core project across the research strategy in terms of, let's say, milestone or a level of execution, yet in terms of pillar for what concerns CCS, MCS, quality by digital design, and so forth, in the way that we have also a map of whether to understand whether there is an element of focus that too much in one direction rather than the other, or there is an angle that we are not covering properly. And you can also see that the core projects are mapped in terms of whether they are proposed from pure academic perspective, or whether it is a combined academic and industry, or whether there is a specific industry that is pulling or suggesting to work in that direction, in the way that we understand exactly what are the opportunities, what are the assumptions, what are the expectations, and how best to build up then the steering team that is offering governance during the execution and interim review. This is an intense job. It's a job that is running all the year, so it's quite an intense job. So we meet on a weekly basis with the TechCom, and we try to get engaged with the tier 2 and technology provider in the way that we look at the SME as well. So, but I wanted to share with you, to give you visibility of what are the operations, how the operations look like behind the research per se. The other element of how we, let's say, accelerate direction of industrial applicability and possibly regulatory readiness is translation to industry. There is a funnel so via research, academic research, etc., we build up a portfolio of innovative technologies. Here we have a number that is 109. In reality, I think that the actual number is 117. So we have 120 technologies sitting in our portfolio. Let's say very low TRL up to TRL 4, maybe 5 in some cases, and then it's a high priority for us to select the right technologies and to progress those selected technology at higher TRL. The question is how, because we need to work in a multidisciplinary team from scientific perspective, yet multidisciplinary from stakeholder perspective as well. We need a different field of science. We need industrialists. We need academic leaders. We need young minds, PhDs. We need a little bit of business element in that. And the way how we do is that we creating a translation to industry committee. We have a translation to industry manager that is leading and facilitating the committee. We decided for some specific targets that you can see here. So we try to identify at least one technology per quarter at TRL 3 that will be progressed at higher TRL. And we like to have at least one technology per year that is progressing at TRL higher than 5, higher than 6. Therefore, we start discussing the commercial readiness at that level. That means we have selected partners working with us. And I think this is a sort of unique level of, how to say, organization. Let's put it this way, how we manage our innovation portfolio in a collaborative manner, because we still operate under pre-competitive and therefore very inclusive and very open in terms of discussing with our industrial partner and trying to develop strategies together. And seems to be very, very interesting for the students as well, because there is a level of exposure to a structured approach in terms of building commercial readiness and of course management of IP and all those components that become critical at higher TRL. This is a little bit of breakdown for what concerns the actual way of working. So we have the translation to industry committee on the left side, as you see, that is led by the technical translation manager. There is a constant communication. So we receive input from the academic programs and therefore from the academic research. Then we have an industry rep that is coming from industry perspective, that is representing the different field of discipline, can be chem devs, pharm dev, biopharmaceutics, whatever, analytical science. We meet on a monthly basis. We discuss with the TechCom. We report to the TechCom in terms of prioritization, and we have a little bit of due diligence at that level. And then we bring up to the industry board, and we endorse the programs. I like to reinforce the fact that when you are a very early TRL, it's quite tricky to run a due diligence, because all the data are still, let's say, how to say, not maybe totally mature. And this is why it's very important, the digital strategy we discussed in the past couple of days. So how best to organize the data in terms of fabric and architecture. This is a last slide for what concerns translation to industry. So it's giving you a breakdown, visibility to the breakdown of the innovation portfolio, the 117 technology I mentioned a few seconds ago. So we look at the technology from TRL perspective. So many technology are TRL 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we look at the technology from research strategy pillars perspective, therefore CCS, MCS, BCS, and some that are unassigned. And you can see that there is a coherent trend, so that we are expanding the programs. We are introducing element of nanomedicine, biopharmaceutics, and they are starting to emerge in translation to industry strategy as well. Technology subclasses and industry problem statement Of course, behind drug product, end-to-end measurement enablers, etc. This is a little bit more, let's say, sophisticated definition. This is just a simple representation, and that we use to discuss the strategy within CMAC and together with our partner. On the right side, you can appreciate that we are already active. We have front runners that are approaching commercial scale via licensing, via collaboration with other research centers. So we have the digital workflow. We have some digital tools, specifically this is a solubility app. We have a particle engineering process technology that we are developing together with a tier 2 based in the US, and we have a manufacturing platform technology that is a process application that at the moment we are discussing in terms of licensing for what concerns the commercial scale with the leading CDMO. So it's very good. The center is evolving. We are evolving in terms of leadership as well, and this is a great opportunity for development, and is very rich. So the message I like to give you is we work hard, we work in a structured manner, we try to interact as much as possible with our partners, academic stakeholders and industry, but as you see, is very, very rich. So therefore, you are super welcome to discuss with us only in this regard. So how best, what are the opportunities that we can exploit together? So how best to create sustainability in larger sense? Maybe you have seen or you discussed with some of the research or academic leaders, we are working on equality by digital design white paper. So this is a communication that most likely will be released sometime next year, second quarter, I guess. It's a very important paper because it's a combination of science, technology, applicability, and regulatory perspective. We are working on this together with our industry tier 1 and tier 2 partners, and we are also involving our visiting prof that come from industry, and we hope this paper will somehow facilitate and implement and bring the community to embrace the more and more the quality by design. That is super important in terms of ensuring that any kind of medicine or process is designed to support safety, efficacy, and compliance. And yet again, with the element of digital that most likely will bring affordability, will bring, let's say, market access and sustainability. Before I close, I'd like to bring back the vibe into the lab, into the scientific community, into the student, into the pleasure of working in a CMC, drug delivery kind of setup. And I like also to reinforce the message for what concerns the intensity of research, the quality of the research portfolio, and the quality of the academic leadership and scientists that we support as a center. And obviously, I'm the industry director. I have to close saying a big thanks to our industry partners and all the different stakeholders, and thanks to the agencies that are supporting the center, because without this level of collaboration and communication, we couldn't do what we are doing. So thank you very much.